LLG councillors in Western Highlands threaten Paul's boycott. Fake bilums from China causing an uproar. As Eastern Highlands looks to China to build agriculture.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. A group of village councillors in Western Highlands province have threatened to boycott the local level government elections in August. This comes after they have been without pay for over 3 years. Spokesperson Lama Kepa is urging the national government to pay the 7 million kina in allowances before conducting a new election.
34 councillors from Nebilia local level government said the LLG election will not be conducted in their area if their allowances are not settled. They are representing their colleagues in Western Highlands province. They say the national government should do away with the local level government if they do not have budget for them to use. The councillors questioned how the newly appointed leaders will get paid when the former councillors have been without pay for 42 months.
And all councillors will look out in stuff. But one can Sunday so come up long and Miblos are talk, Miblos are fight strong, Miblos are rousing big money, Miblos are talk stuff. Now local member Miblos are coming at talk, Mibla make him all same, Mibla make him all same. That's all true at all. All in us are making, Mibla or land plus, Mibla councillors will make him.
Another issue raised is the changing of polling and counting dates to a same day. They felt that the decision would affect the people, especially in the Highlands region, where people take politics personally. In the last LLG election, the presidents were voted by the people. However, in this year's election, the councillors will lobby to vote their presidents.
Please, local council must be aware of that. I must come, kissing few man, Mirilo place, councillors lo place. Counting long same time lo freedom right also they must come to few blow mibla. MC na tamplo all public servants move around, all MPs, all members, only meeting after meeting, but they don't know what is happening in the back in the village.
Involved with the big blow something big money. Na foundation belong country and meeting was in mibla staff tas all government and organize mibla sem mibla leader block community.
All they wanted is for the allowances to be settled before the August election. Vasanata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
Police in Manus have received reports of refugees travelling out of the province without proper authorization from PNG Immigration or the Australian government. Manus Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector David Yapu is concerned that some refugees are travelling to centres such as Medang, Wibak and Kavieng and are taking part in the betel nut trade. PPC Yapu says authorities will be held responsible if the refugees are involved in accidents or implicated in criminal offences. He raised these concerns after there was an increase in reports of refugees travelling out of the province either by boat or on any Guinea aircraft. PPC Yapu is now discouraging locals in Manus from allowing refugees to travel with them out of the province. Fake bilums made in China are currently being sold in some foreign-owned shops in Leh for less than 20 kina. The members of the public in Leh, especially women, are angered by this and they are speaking, raising their concerns. They are calling on authorities to stop the sale of the counterfeit bilums.
These are the fake bilums that were woven in factories in China. They were imported to PNG into Morbe province and are currently being sold at various Asian shops in Leh at 17 kina and 19 kina each.
Maybe it's good.
This has triggered angry responses from the Leh public.
One is something you can work in Papua New Guinea. You must strong him now, encourage him to buy him plenty because benefit him go back lol. Online lo you lo here. Now usa this type of factory na work him one something you carry me. I don't know their faces, so emba benefit him usat. See the jobless people, all mama all sit down there. All work him, bilum, lo salim next money. In a way they are going to feed Papua New Guineans. Why support the outside products?
Plenty people, mama blum lo place. They live on this. And money blongolia. Now you said lo come la copy this style blum mi pla. This pla am godi give me pla this la. Am anmak blum Papua New Guinea straight. Now mi plan no like mol line all Asians come la copy style blum pla na bagara pe mol sit down blum mi pla mama blum lo place where they live on this.
Tapos all work in this plan. All can put in one plan office. No, mama can go sit down and turn him rope. No, can eat him now. Work him something low. By any way, the means will survive.
Bilum is more than a bag. It is made by hand in PNG. Traditionally, The string used was handmade from plant fibers. Bilums are used to carry a wide range of items, from shopping goods in large bilums to personal items in purse-sized varieties.
I fem stabinze lo bilum, baby mi pla lo bilum, na money na all get something. Time mi pla Mary Karen bilum, mi pla film was we are women.
Most Papua New Guinean women are now using wool-botted shops to make their bilums. This allows a great diversity of color patterns that represents certain tribe or clan in PNG. Local men usually prefer to use long-handled styles so they can be worn over the shoulder. Women often prefer the short-handled types. Bilum making is a source of income in PNG. In the Highlands region, they are now making clothes from the bilum.
Mama working bilum now ono got so blouse blown. Time man marry like him this la bilum. It was 15 kina, 19 kina, I'm come down to mass.
Papua New Guinean entrepreneurs are providing market for the locals by buying bilums from them and resell to the public. Bilum products attract a lot of tourists and are also being sold overseas. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
Kerama General Hospital Chief Executive Officer Moses Uvaipi and members of the hospital board expressed their concern over the proposed implementation of the Provincial Health Authority Act within the province. Discussions on the process of improving health services or merging into the PHA have happened. However, the hospital and its board members have been left out.
Under the implementation of the 2015 National Health Plan, it was made a compulsory requirement that all hospitals within the country be merged to address health issues. The board is concerned that political strengths have overstepped their boundaries, and with prior experience of the neglect through funding and support from the provincial government and the administration, this is looking to cause an unhealthy setup for the service in question.
Now that province is going to take on the PHA, what is in agreement? Is there any component about what amount of money can they support the PHA? If there's no money, if there's nothing talking about how much they can give, then it's going to be a disaster because no money, no funding will come from them to help go into PHA. Because over the years now, they haven't done well.
After 20 years of providing basic primary health care, the hospital has concerns that health service functions have not been distributed equally. Kerama General Hospital is directly taking the full load of hospital duties for services that should be provided by aid posts and health centres in rural areas.
When it's rolled out, when the big commitment is rolled out, the reality is the hospital is going to end up providing everything, because it's the only functioning institution in the health institution in the province. Patients, they come for primary health care and they fight with our staff over basic things like sick with fever and malaria or pneumonia. We are not supposed to be treating those. As a hospital, we are supposed to be providing things that aid posts can cater for or health centers can cater for.
The provincial administration wants to use the PHA system to resurrect health service delivery in the province. However, the board says the process of improving health services or merging shouldn't be seen as to resurrect, because in fact, PHA should be set to maintain and improve what is already on the ground.
That the process of resurrecting what should have been maybe brought up to certain states is another financial consumption stream where we will be spending a lot of money on. We should be focusing on maintaining and improving that service that is already there, and then maybe address areas that needs new facilities installed.
For the least developed province trying to establish itself and get some basic development, the hospital says there is not much choice left but to take this as a challenge.
Now we have been pushed to, we have no choice but take it on, take the challenge. But the idea here, we want the process, every little process to be followed or done up transparently. So we have fair consultation from all parties, so we have good input into coming up with making sure that we come up with a successful PhD.
Helen Sea, National EMTV News.
The National Court in Port Moresby has ruled in favour of the University of Papua New Guinea Council. Last week, the Waigani National Court dismissed an application filed by the Secretary and Minister for Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. The application filed was seeking court orders to dismiss proceedings on the powers of the UPNG Council in the selection and admission of students at the university.
Those involved in this case include the UPNG Council and the Minister and Secretary for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. The grounds this application was filed on were based on the powers of the UPNG Council in the admission of students to academic programs available at the university. The Minister and Secretary for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology argued that the proceedings should be dismissed because the UPNG Council lacked powers for student admission. However, the university's original summons were made on the declaration from the courts that the UPNG Council had the powers to select and grant admission to students for academic programs without interference from the department. The UPNG Council has further filed for a temporary court order to prevent the department from withholding TESA scholarships from any students enlisted at UPNG whose name may not appear on the department's selection list, despite meeting the required grade point average or GPA mark. Based on this, the courts dismissed the proceedings, ruling that it was not an abuse of court process. It ruled that UPNG was simply seeking declarative orders and its council is the legitimate authority to authorize the selection of students and to grant admission to academic programs at the university, and that interference to these powers by the Department of Higher Education, Science, Research and Technology was illegal. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The Office of Censorship, in partnership with the National Drug Squad, destroyed over 1,000 illicit materials, including more than 9.5 kilograms of marijuana in Port Moresby. The illicit materials included pornographic magazines, multiple DVDs and sex enhancement toys. The items were confiscated by the Enforcement and Compliance Division of the Office of Censorship in their daily operations within the city. The materials were burnt and destroyed outside Port Moresby. The Office of Censorship, the RPNGC and PNG Customs hope to continue this collaboration with other partners to crack down on those possessing these illegal items. This is National EMTV News. We go for a break, but we'll have more of the day's stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Eastern Highlands Province is looking to China to build agriculture in the province. Eastern Highlands Provincial Governor Peter Numu, Agriculture Minister Benny Allen and provincial government officers were in Fujian Province in China last month. Governor Numu said the purpose of the visit was to attend a symposium on Junkao technology and investment and trade partnership with Fujian Provincial Government through agriculture.
The Eastern Highlands Province delegates were in Fujian Province for a week, attending a symposium on Junkao technology. Junkao technology is the use of wild or artificially cultivated plants to cultivate edible and medicinal mushrooms and fungus fertilizers. It has been used in Lufa district, which was chosen as the Center for Research on Mushroom Development, and as well on the 20-year research on dryland rice in Goroka.
Junkao technology. Some mushroom and rice project, dryland rice. Firstly is for us to commercialize rice, and after 20 years of training, now we want to commercialize rice.
Following the symposium, the delegates visited the display of products by different companies, traveled to a factory which supplies mushrooms using Junkao technology, and also visited local farms.
So in order for us to commercialize mushroom and rice, we have to go and see the technology there, and basically to make some arrangement for transfer of those technology to Eastern Highlands.
According to Governor Numu, the other reason for their trip was to strengthen ties with the Fujian province, as both provinces had established sister province relationship 20 years ago.
What I told them is that 20 years we haven't done much. We've been delaying progress in terms of our relations. So, as a new governor, I want to strengthen, further consolidate this relation, and look forward at a bigger scale.
Discussions were held on how the provincial government would partner with each other on different agriculture projects.
We want development to take place now, not 20 years. We want to start now. So my government attitude is to work in partnership, joint venture, in anything in terms of investment, in terms of businesses.
The governor believes the trip would get the ball rolling for the agriculture sector plans for Eastern Highlands.
It will give us those technology because we are ready to commercialize rice. So this technology will greatly help the provincial government and commercialization of rice and promote more income for the local people.
The commercialization of rice and mushroom in the province is expected next year, and if all goes well, you may be able to have a rice and mushroom grown from Eastern Highlands on your plate in the very near future. Adelaide Siraks Kari, National MTV News.
More than 300 people now have access to water in Nawai's Poham area in Moorabbin. The area's water project was developed by a non-government organization, ADRA PNG, and was launched yesterday. Community leader Jerry Ali said this is the first water project that has been brought to this area.
Poham villagers gathered here at the SDA church grounds to witness the launch of the water project developed by ADRA PNG. The project comes under the organization's water and sanitation program and was funded by the Australian government.
We are happy to participate in smaller community programs, particularly the one here in Poham, where 300 men and women and children will have access to clean, fresh, equitable drinking water.
Yesterday, villagers opened the taps for the first time. The water is sourced from underground, 5 to 10 minutes away from the village. Solar energy is used to pump water from the well to this sedimentation box and pumped up to this storage tank.
And the water settles for 20 minutes for detention, for any debris, any pebbles or any particles that need to settle down before it's transported up to the tank here.
From the storage tank, water is distributed through this pipe, which runs for 25 meters to the main village and sent to 13 different water taps in the area.
Now down in heavy blow, me play whole Mary where all the time me play have walk about, me play no kiss him close to me play have kiss him water underneath the mountain. Some kilometers where me play must walk about go washing plate port na karim water na me play sakam na save all family.
ADRA PNG Planning and Relationship Director Darren Yorio says the villagers now have to take ownership of the project and look after it. Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Leh.
Forest Minister Douglas Tomoriesa has initiated a beautification project for the PNG Forest Authority office premises. The project, which is an orchid garden, was officially launched last Thursday.
The PNG Forest Authority will now have its own orchid garden. This is an initiative of the Forest Minister, which cost about 60,000 kina through the sponsorship of various industry participants. Apart from the orchid gardens, part of this project is to also clear up the entrance to the authority.
We are supposed to be foresters. We are supposed to be the people showing, not just intention showing us, but the forest showing us that we can come here and appreciate our gardens. And I am looking forward to another Garden Eden here.
PNG FA Managing Director Tuno Sabuin thanked the forest minister, challenging all present to not only speak and proclaim that they are custodians of forest resources, but also to action it out.
People see that yes, we can beautify and we can re-beautify our gardens, and this is going to be a man-made, and it's going to be something that people will appreciate.
The gardens are still being worked on and will be officially handed over to the PNG Forest Authority in mid-July. Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National EMTV News.
Paradise Company has today announced the acquisition of Laga Industries in a move that has created a 100% nationally owned giant food company. The deal was signed today by Paradise Company Chairman Anthony Smare and Steamship's Managing Director Peter Langslow. Prior to the acquisition, Laga had been a subsidiary of the Steamships group of companies. According to Paradise Company Chairman Anthony Smare, this acquisition is a statement of ambition by Paradise and its shareholders, as they are bringing two strong growing food businesses with strong brands, sales and distribution networks, loyalty and, more importantly, dedicated employees. Whilst the acquisition amount has not been made public, both companies have advised that the deal is effective as of today.
We are very much appreciative of what the people of Laga and the Laga team have done over the past years that we've achieved, and so really best of luck to Paradise as the new owner.
We're just excited about the potential of putting great people we have in Paradise with the great people we have in Laga, with the combination of products that Laga and Paradise have, backed by the capital that the shareholders of Paradise have in Number One Super and Comrade trustees, as well as the support of our membership. Really taking advantage of the potential that the market has. We think the market has significant potential. And we know that there would be no shortage of suitors for Laga, and we know that Steamships chose, had a careful eye as to which entity you could entrust Laga to, and the fact that you've chosen Paradise and the shareholders of Paradise, we are deeply grateful to Steamships and to the Swires Group and all your shareholders. So thank you.
Settlers living in Medang's Nagada settlement inside Medang district have been given another 3 months to vacate the land that belongs to the Evangelical Lutheran Church of PNG. Settlers are occupying portions 69, 70 and 78 at Nagada settlement, which belongs to the church. The National Court in Medang had issued a court order to evict settlers living in these portions in August last year. The court had also given 3 months for the settlers to vacate the land. Following the court order, member for Medang Brian Kramer conducted social mapping to identify everyone who resided in these portions. He met with settlers and explained the court proceedings, as well as informing them of their rights to obtaining a stay order. However, the order was issued last year, hence the settlers have been given another 3 months to vacate. This is Monday's news. We'll have some news overseas when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Monday's news. Turning overseas now, a notorious French gangster is on the run again after a daring prison escape on a hijacked helicopter. His crimes sound like a plot straight from Hollywood, and there's a good reason for that.
A stunning jailbreak, purportedly filmed from behind bars. CNN cannot independently verify this video, but these shaky images appear to show the moments gunmen arrived to free this man, Redouane Fayed, France's most notorious gangster. His accomplices hijacked a helicopter and forced the pilot to fly to a prison near Paris. There, they staged a diversion, then smuggled the 46-year-old out of a visiting room before fleeing by air. Police later found the burnt-out chopper in an area northwest of Paris. The pilot was released unharmed. The fugitive and his men were nowhere to be found. Sunday's spectacular escape is shockingly not the first for this criminal mastermind. In 2013, Fayed held 4 guards at gunpoint at a detention center in the northern city of Lille, then burst his way into freedom, detonating explosives to destroy 5 fortified doors. A witness described the dramatic scene.
I first saw a prison guard walk by, followed by someone dressed in civilian clothes who was holding a gun to the guard's head. So I got a little scared and I hid in the room.
At the time, Fayed's lawyer said he was not surprised his client broke out.
C'est aussi un garçon qui est remarquablement intelligent.
It is also a young man, remarkably intelligent, and he is using his intellect to serve his ambitions, and I think he has so many years in prison behind him that he thought it was one too many.
The Frenchman is a self-styled modern-day gangster, often taking inspiration, he says, from Hollywood movies. He once wore a hockey mask during a heist like Robert De Niro's character in Heat, then brazenly attacked armored trucks and other targets. But for those who suffered his bravado, he is a real-life villain. The parents of a French policewoman killed in one of Fayed's robbery attempts were devastated by the news. CNN affiliate BFM reported. Now once again free and once again the subject of an international manhunt, his victims must wait for justice.
To the US now, and President Trump is looking forward to his chance to reshape the US Supreme Court. In a tweet, he said a big week, especially with our numerous victories in the Supreme Court. Heading back to the White House now, focus will be on the selection of a new Supreme Court justice.
The White House would only confirm over the weekend that President Trump spoke to key allies and advisors, including White House counsel Don McGahn, in broad strokes about the confirmation process. The White House would not confirm that the president actually spoke to those one or two potential nominees that he told reporters he might talk to on Friday when he arrived here in New Jersey. One of the topics we know the president will not be discussing with these potential nominees is their stance on abortion. The president saying that he would not ask these candidates about their stance on Roe versus Wade, though it is something we know that lawmakers are going to be looking for, including Senator Susan Collins of Maine. Listen to what she told Jake Tapper Sunday on State of the Union.
I would not support a nominee who demonstrated hostility to Roe v. Wade, because that would mean to me that their judicial philosophy did not include a respect for established decisions, established law. And I believe that that is a very important fundamental tenet of our judicial system, which, as Chief Justice Roberts says, helps to promote stability and even-handedness.
And Senator Collins is not alone. There are other Republican lawmakers out there who tend to vote in favor of abortion rights, like Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. We should point out, it is going to be a razor-thin margin of error for Republicans. They're going to need almost every single vote, and it is going to be a tough process, a tough fight ahead. Notably, the president has marked July 9th on the calendar as the date that he is going to be making the announcement of his nominee. So it is going to be a tight time frame for the White House to whittle down all these names, though President Trump has said that he has about 5 names on a short list and that he is going to be interviewing with 6 or 7 potential candidates.
Still in the U.S., wildfires are burning in parts of the United States. In Sacramento, 22,000 acres are burning out of control, forcing evacuations.
Flames in Northern California kept fire crews busy Saturday. Gusty wind conditions fueled the blaze, and by Sunday morning, the so-called county fire had exploded. The night sky just outside Sacramento was lit up as the fire tore through more than 22,000 acres, threatening dozens of structures and forcing evacuations. It's the same in Colorado, where high temperatures and high winds are fueling the spring fire.
Pretty intense. I had about maybe 5 minutes to get out of there.
So far, it's singed more than 41,000 acres and evacuated 2,000 homes, including Ryan Pittman's.
Across the street, about maybe 150 yards, 200 yards, the flames were coming up and over.
On Saturday, Jesper Jorgensen was arrested and charged with arson in connection with this fire. Nearly 200 miles west, Colorado's biggest fire continues to rage on a month after it first broke out. So far, the 416 fire has scorched 47,000 acres, and according to fire officials, it could be another month before they're even close to containment. The 416 fire alone cost more than $26 million to fight, and it is just the beginning of fire season. A new fire forecast is warning warmer temperatures and limited rain could mean more fires in the very near future that are harder to contain.
Here with National EMTV News, we go for a break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports, including updates from the FIFA World Cup. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with some updates from the FIFA World Cup in Russia. The drama and shock results continue at the World Cup, with the host Russia causing a huge upset against Spain this morning.
They never stopped believing. As they followed the big match on the big screen in the Moscow fan zone, Russians experienced every possible emotion, including the sweetest one of all, euphoria. It's great, he says. We'll be the champions.
Well, from the way they're celebrating here, you might think that Russia had just won the World Cup. But this joy is understandable, because a quarter-final place is a huge achievement for a side which went into this tournament the lowest-ranked team.
Russia! And Russia isn't just winning matches, it's winning hearts and minds too.
I'm from Australia. It's nothing like they say, mate. Russia's like one of the nicest places I've ever been to. And I've been to about 20 countries in this world.
And that is a public relations victory for President Putin.
He sees it definitely as a political victory. It is something he's achieved. They were able to get the cup, and they not only were able to do that, but against all predictions to the contrary, make it very successful.
Tonight, the whole of Russia is out partying. Russians are brimming with pride and daring to dream of World Cup glory.
And the Russians just keep on rolling at the FIFA World Cup on a day where the goalkeepers have upstaged the strikers. The host nation at the tournament knocked out world number 10, Spain. Here's a look at the action at the FIFA World Cup in Russia.
Ignore the Neymars, Cavani's and Mbappe's. Igor Akinfeev is without doubt the toast of Moscow.
Akinfeev saves! It is Russia's party!
The veteran keeper with the most significant save of the tournament and of his career. But despite Akinfeev's heroics, Spain only had themselves to blame. In a game where they had close to 80% possession, 24 shots and more than 1,000 passes, they had to rely on an own goal to get on the board.
The 10th own goal of this World Cup has Spain in front.
But a handball by Gerard Piqué gave Russia the chance to equalise and send the crowd into overdrive.
And Cuba scores! And the hosts are happy again!
A late effort by Andres Iniesta almost stole the game, but from then on, penalties seemed inevitable. Both teams scored with their first two attempts before Akinfeev pulled off his first save.
And Akinfeev saves!
Both teams then traded another score before striker Denis Cheryshev made it 4-3 for the hosts and set the stage for his captain. Iniesta could only watch on as Akinfeev effectively ended his international career, the Spanish midfielder retiring at the end of the match. Russia now advanced to their first quarter-final in 48 years.
Playing for you, that banner says.
Elsewhere, Croatia and Denmark clearly got the memo and followed a similar script. Two scrappy goals in the first 4 minutes was the best of the action until a penalty deep into extra time looked to gift Croatia the tie. But Luka Modric could only watch as Kasper Schmeichel, son of famous Dane and Manchester United keeper Peter Schmeichel, held on. The second penalty shootout in a matter of hours saw another keeper become his nation's hero. Croatia's Daniel Subasic becoming only the second goalkeeper to save 3 from 5 penalties in a World Cup shootout. Ivan Rakitic had the final say as his penalty booked Croatia's spot in their first quarter-final in 20 years, where they now have the unenviable task of taking on their hosts.
And we'll have more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To the NRL now and to some State of Origin news. Queensland Maroons captain Greg Inglis has been ruled out of Game 3 of the State of Origin match in Brisbane next week. The Queensland centre broke his right thumb during the Rabbitohs' win over the Cowboys yesterday. His injury will add more pressure on the Maroons as they head into Game 3 to defend a Blues series clean sweep. Fullback Billy Slater will captain the team for the first in his last Origin match, while Manly halfback Daly Cherry Evans has been recalled to the team. The Blues have made one change in their lineup, with Dragons' Tariq Sims getting a spot on the bench. Captain Boyd Courtner is also nursing an ongoing hamstring injury, but is likely to play next week. The Blues have not won all 3 games in a series since the year 2000. To basketball now, and the biggest name in the NBA is heading to the LA Lakers. LeBron James has announced he signed a 4-year contract worth more than $225 million.
Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, LeBron is a Laker. It was a widely predicted move.
LeBron James leaving Cleveland once again.
But one that still came as a shock.
The Lakers have landed LeBron.
Free agent LeBron James officially joining the second most successful franchise in NBA history.
This is a seismic shift in the league. The best player in the NBA going from the East to the West.
His $227 million contract only bettered by the Rockets' James Harden and Golden State star Steph Curry. But this is about more than just money.
A 4-year deal, last year as a player option. He never signed that long a deal when he returned to the Cavaliers this last time. That shows a faith in the organization. They can build that championship team.
A team Lakers officials are already starting to build. The next target, Spurs' Kawhi Leonard.
Rest assured now, the Lakers are going to get more aggressive.
The move getting the seal of approval from Lakers legend Kobe Bryant, a 5-time NBA winner with the club. But what about the Cleveland faithful he's leaving behind? The last time LeBron left Ohio, they burnt his singlet. This time, they were a little more understanding.
I'm not mad at him. He won us a championship.
I am happy for him. If he needs to do his thing, go do it.
Although LeBron did lead them to an historic first NBA title just 2 years ago.
It's over! It's over!
And with the King now on their books, it might not be long until the Lakers once again taste this kind of success.
To Super Rugby now, and the Hurricanes believe they are still good enough to secure a home quarter-final despite coming off one of their worst performances in years.
A selection shake-up is imminent after 3 straight losses on the road. The return of Beauden Barrett for a clash with the lowly Blues at home might just be what they need to regain some confidence.
So I'd like to just double-check.
It's not easy watching. I've become an armchair critic like the rest of us. I knew the boys would be hurting. We're excited about being back at home. I guess on the back of 3 losses, putting it right at home.
Captain Brad Shields is set to return from international duty with England, while Locke Vaiafafita is available after suffering a concussion 2 weeks ago. And no such worries for the Crusaders. After a week off, they're just a competition point away from securing a playoff match at home.
We can't look too far ahead against a quality Highlanders team, so who will be hurting after last weekend. So no, we know how tough they are. We have to go back too early on in the season to see how that one went.
The Crusaders haven't lost at home in 2 years, and that doesn't look like changing anytime soon, with Kieran Reid fit and available for selection this week.
And finally to golf, a win is proving elusive for Tiger Woods, who struggled with his putt yet again on the US Golf Tour. Woods has claimed his 4th top 10 since his return to golf last year, as others scored big.
Two short words summing up Tiger Woods' short putting struggles. Woods finishing last in putts made within 10 feet, 2 misses from dead range.
And that's another big miss.
I hit a lot of putts that didn't go in, which is fine. As long as I'm hitting good putts, I'm seeing my lines. That's something I have been missing for a while now.
He made a mini mid-round charge with back-to-back birdies at the 7th and 8th holes.
There we go.
And looked good for another at the 10th before one of those missed putts. In the end, he settled for a 4-under par round of 66 to finish 11 under in a tie for 4th, but it could have been so much better.
I thought I might give myself a chance. I was at the 10 under mark, starting the turn. Evidently, I would have had to shoot like, 24 on the back 9.
That's because Francesco Molinari shot the lights out, becoming the first Italian to win on the PGA Tour since 1947. Molinari carding 4 birdies and an eagle in the first 5 holes of the back 9 on his way to an 8-under round and an 8-shot victory.
Start of the back 9 was incredible, so really proud of what I've done.
Meanwhile, for Woods, it's his final tournament start before the Open Championship at Carnoustie in 2.5 weeks, a major he's won 3 times.
Thank goodness I've played a Scottish Open, a British Open there, and so familiar with the place.
Still putter stutters, but a glimpse of Tiger Woods inching closer to his best.
And that's it for Trukai Sports. We go for a break. When we come back, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. We begin in the southern region. Cloudy weather expected in Port Moresby, a shower or 2 expected in Daru and Popondetta, a few showers for Alota, cloudy periods for Kerma. To the Momase region, rain periods expected in Lae, cloudy weather in Wau, a shower or 2 for Madang, rain and showers for Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, rain and thunderstorms expected in Lorengau and Kavieng, rain and showers expected in Kokopo and Rabaul, a shower or 2 for Kimbe, rain and showers in Buka. And in the Highlands region, the major centres Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Wamendi and Wabik can expect a few showers this evening, with early morning fog developing. To a look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, but first there is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of Papua New Guinea, including the Coral, Solomon and Bismarck Seas, and a gale wind warning has been issued for all coastal waters of Yule Island to Hood Point and through Vitias and Dampier Straits to CSE Island to Long Island, including the Coral and Bismarck Seas. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, Yule Island, and with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, and waters of Hood Point to Samarai Island to Cape Vogel, Finchafen, and waters of West New Britain, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Yule Island to Hood Point and with waters of Finchafen through Vitias and Dampier Strait to CSE Island to Long Island, seas 3 to 4 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape and Vanimo on the northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 1 to 2.5 meters, and waters of East New Britain to New Island and Bougainville, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea, seas rough to very rough with southeasterly winds at 34 to 48 knots. Solomon Sea, seas rough with southeasterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas rough to very rough with southeasterly winds at 34 to 48 knots. And the Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 2nd of July 2018. On behalf of the entire MTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.